Of all the stories to get frustrated and angry about, this one is just especially disheartening. You can say all you want about the US defending the Krane and sending them arms and whatnot, but how does anybody justify this? While we're in $33 trillion of debt and spending more every year than we collect in taxes, a report from CBS News explains how we're bankrolling the Krane's 57,000 first responders, as well as fashion stores, schools, farms. Look at this. It's even helping small businesses, banking firms, fashion brands. Recent analysis from the Council of Foreign Relations shows that more than $30 billion, 40% of the aid we're sending over there, is not related to military costs. More than $30 billion. So for just the non-military spending, that's $83 for every man, woman, and child in the United States. Now remember, only 60% of US households pay income tax, and a lot of those citizens are children. So the number is even higher. Look at this. In October, we gave 6 Kranian fashion brands money so they could participate in Fashion Week. How does that not enrage people? Right here, $9.8 billion in humanitarian assistance, national services like healthcare and education for the Krane. And if you want to do the gymnastics to say that this is right and just or morally correct or whatever, just remember that this is not the United States of America. There's plenty of people in the US citizens and US taxpayers for that matter, that would highly benefit from healthcare and education and humanitarian aid benefits. But no, we're sending it over there. So while our first responders get paid less, while our kids have bad education in schools, while our own citizens and our own taxpayers suffer under the burden of healthcare costs, we are shipping out money to them. And that's just so far. Joey Baseman himself has said that we will never stop until the job is supposedly done. An arbitrary, non-existent date, and this war will probably go on for 10 years. How any person could think that this is not intentionally designed to destroy us is beyond me. And here's a video from the Serpent himself today, where he says that if the government shuts down, the black community in particular is going to suffer. But while they supposedly will suffer from this shutdown, as you saw in my previous video, the money still going over there won't stop. It is absolutely mind-blowing to me how any person could sit there and justify this while we suffer here and are in debt. So we're borrowing money from China and printing money out of thin air, which is causing all the inflation, injecting more cash and increasing the money supply to chase the exact same amount of goods and services to finance fashion houses to go to Paris Fashion Week in the Krane. And then, while all this is happening right in front of our face, and you don't even have to have a singular wrinkle in your literal cabeza, Donnie comes out and speaks today in South Carolina and says that Lindsey Graham is his friend and that he's great and that he is useful to help him negotiate with the left. While Lindsey Graham is objectively one of the most outspoken politicians about supporting what we're doing over there in the Krane. And he is especially the most outspoken person on the right. How do people square that circle? I don't understand that. He's saying Lindsey's great, he's saying he supports him, he's his friend, and everybody seems to have all these problems with the associations that they say that DeSantis has, but nobody seems too concerned about calling this relationship out. But don't worry, guys, because he's got the personality, right? Whatever, I guess. Whatever. Let's fund small businesses in the Krane, but not here. Let's fund healthcare and education in the Krane, but not here. Let's do that. Wild. Sad, really. And many people won't share this video because I even mentioned Donnie perhaps in a slightly unfavorable light. So even though they might agree with the 85% of the video, that part means they won't share it. And they'll just conflate the fact that I'm pointing something out to me being against him, or perhaps being in support of DeSantis, when really all I'm doing is saying, how are you not willing to call this out? You could like Donnie, and I do. But if you're going to say that you don't like perhaps one of the other candidates because of their associations or their perceived associations with X, Y, or Z person, then if you are fair and reasonable, you would also be willing to mention this. And perhaps some people will ask him about it in some interviews, or maybe at a debate, even though he's not attending the next one, or maybe any of them.